So I'm not a body, I am free. How many times have you heard those words by now? How many times have I heard them? How many times have I said them? I'm not a body, I am free. When you introduce yourself to someone you've never met before, what do you say to them? Do you say, "Good afternoon, I am the Holy Son of God himself"? Maybe you do. I doubt it very much. I think some people do. No, you say your name. You say a word formed out of syllables and consonants that symbolizes the form of a specific image, a body. Even if you do introduce yourself as the Holy Son of God himself, you'd still only be formulating a symbol that is not the thing itself that is being referred to. You're not the Holy Son of God himself. In other words, you're not a concept, you're not a name. What you are, what I am, cannot be conceptualized or grasped by the human brain from the limited perspective in which I find myself as a body. But we do give names to everything, we do conceptualize everything, and we think that we know what something is by the action of giving a name to it. In English we use the word body to identify in general what I believe I am as a human being. And in Spain they have the word cuerpo. In German they use the word Körper for body. And in Italian it is corpo. It's like the word that we use for corpse, isn't it? In our culture, in our society, the body is undoubtedly fetishized and even worshipped. This is a world of bodies. Everywhere you look, you see bodies. We're overrun with them. The human race is breeding out of control. Our population is twice what it was when A Course in Miracles came into being. So this is a lesson on freedom and on the body and how freedom relates to the body. Perhaps when you were younger you had an attractive body that other bodies wanted to be around. And perhaps now you're a bit older, nobody wants to give you the time of day anymore. How often have I decided whether someone else was worth talking to or not based upon their outward appearance, their body, how it appears to my eyes, how it's dressed? We live in a world where appearance is deeply cherished. It is a world of appearances, a world of images. And if your face and your body happen to have the right shape and proportion that are currently considered attractive, you could use your body to make a lot of money. for yourself or for someone else. Or you could have your pick of a long line of suitors, perhaps, or a long line of supermodels. If you look at the popular television or magazines, we are bombarded with images of bodies. And the stories that accompany these images are invariably centered around the body and its appearance. I'd like to just share with you an excerpt from a short article I saw yesterday, just as a kind of real-world example. And I saw this when I was looking at a news website, but the internet is full of this kind of thing, as are a lot of our newspapers and TV. And the article said this. It said, Kimberly Garner, I've no idea who that is, by the way. Kimberly Garner returns to her Cannes hotel in a skimpy pink tennis outfit before emerging dolled up for the evening in just a long silk blouse and heels. That was the story, essentially. And the image that you get presented with is this young woman who apparently spends every waking moment attending to some aspect of her appearance. That hair is dyed and highlighted, fashionably cut. The face is absolutely covered with makeup, mascara, eyeliner, lipstick. The skin is tanned, the eyebrows are shaped and threaded, the teeth are whitened, the fingernails are immaculately manicured and polished, and the body is draped in expensive clothes and jewellery. And that's what you call clickbait on the internet. They put it on there so that your eyes are attracted to it and you click on it. This world, clearly that's what our minds are attracted to. They use whatever sells. If it was something else that drew attention, they'd use something else. So this world is indeed a mindless dream in which the body, which is mindless, is idolized, fantasized about, and eroticized. The body is commodified and used to shift product to make money. And yes, this is a mindless world, and the mind's only real purpose here is to serve the ends of the body. The body has become an end in itself. Who is really concerned about what is going on in that person's mind? It's all about the appearance. It's all about the image that your eyes light upon. And if we are concerned about the person's mind, it's usually just in order to make their existence as a body more effective. That's what passes for therapy. It's really dealing with the body's mind, the ego, the part of the mind that has identified with and attached itself to a specific body. We also look to and aspire to be like bodies that seem to have attained freedom through wealth. Richard Branson is a good example of this. He's someone who's been in the news quite a bit recently. This playboy billionaire who owns an island and he hangs out with celebrities on yachts in exotic locations. I'm not judging him at all for that. If I had lived that life, I'd be doing exactly what he's doing right now, and I wouldn't be questioning it. So, he has glamorous exploits and adventures as a body, flying around the world in a hot air balloon, or being the first space tourist, as happened this week. And we look on these public figures vicariously from the emptiness of our own humdrum lives and perhaps wish that we had been blessed with a different hero of our particular dream, a more successful, more attractive body. Who hasn't yearned to be someone else or to have the experiences and the things that another has? I certainly have many times. Perhaps we attempt to obtain a piece of that freedom for ourselves in our own dream, and perhaps for a moment the body does seem to offer you freedom. When you're young, you can do all kinds of things. You can compete in athletics, you can play all kinds of sports, you can climb Mount Everest, you can go hang gliding or skydiving, you can go deep sea diving, and you have the energy in the body still to explore the physical world with the physical body and have an adventure for a moment. There are all kinds of experiences that you can have in a body. You can eat fine food and drink expensive wine, smoke expensive cigars perhaps. But whatever it is that you think, or I think, that we can achieve here or experience here, this dream is made of fear, and it can and does very quickly revert back to fear. The dream itself was made by fear, including the body, the whole world I see. So let's remind ourselves of what Jesus says about the body. This is from the section, What is the Body? He says, "The body is a fence the Son of God imagines he has built to separate parts of his self from other parts." The body is imagined, a figment of your imagination, an image, an imaginary barrier to divide myself up into conflicting parts that are defined by their differences. Say your name. That's how you define yourself as distinct from everyone else within this condition of separation, a specific body with a specific name. So it is within this fence the Son of God thinks he lives, to die as it decays and crumbles. I, the Holy Son of God himself, seem to be incarcerated within a prison of clay, and I can see other moving flesh prisons all around me, but I cannot, no matter what I do, I cannot seem to be able to find my way out of this imprisonment. This prison, it seems to dictate how I feel. It seems to dictate when I will die. And I seem to be not only contained within it, but I actually seem to be this prison of flesh. So he continues, "For within this fence that surrounds him, he thinks he is safe from love." And what is love? It's union, it's oneness, it's our shared identity as spirit, the shared identity of everything. God has one Son, and the body seems to prevent us from actually joining and experiencing this oneness and this unity. It appears to establish a gap of separation between myself and yourself. It seems to keep my separate identity safe and protected from the threat of union. He does say somewhere that present joining is your dread. Truly joining with another in mind is a total threat to my sense of separation, to my self-concept, to everything I identify with and believe that I am as a person, everything that makes me me. So identifying with his safety, he regards himself as what his safety is. We identify with safety. And to my wish to be separate, in other words, to my ego, the body does appear to be my safety and security. To my spirit, of course, God is my refuge and security. So how else could he be certain he remains within the body, keeping love outside? So in order to decisively convince myself that I am within the body and protected from love, I have to identify with it and as it. So the body will not stay, yet this he sees as double safety. For the Son of God's impermanence is proof his fences work and do the task his mind assigns to them. So the fact that my body is rapidly aging, my hair is falling out and turning grey, and my skin is wrinkling, it may disturb me, but it is actually an assurance to my twisted mind that I have successfully detached myself from union and oneness. I've achieved it. I've made myself impermanent. I can't be a son of God if I'm impermanent, and I'm destined to just weaken and sicken and die. So I've made myself right in my arrogance, and I've made God wrong. Congratulations, what an accomplishment. Now I'm incredibly limited in my perspective. I believe I'm going to die, and I've completely limited myself. If you can call that an accomplishment. So he continues, for if his oneness still remains untouched, who could attack and who could be attacked? What is there to attack in oneness? There isn't something else that can attack. There isn't something else to attack. If there is only oneness, if there is perfect unity, who could be victor in oneness, and who could be his prey? Who could be victim, and who could be the murderer? And if he did not die, what proof is there that God's eternal Son can be destroyed? That's what death seems to prove. Herein lies a witness that God is dead. The body's demise proves, in the ego's interpretation of it, that God's eternal Son can be attacked and destroyed. The ego, the part of the mind that identifies with the body, made the body to attack with. And clearly it's going to need other bodies to attack. He calls the world an attack on everything by everything. So the ego attacks me. My ego attacks me. It attacks my brothers. Ultimately, what it's attacking is my living oneness. It's attacking my invulnerability. That's a lesson, isn't it? My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Good luck with that. How can you attack invulnerability if it's truly invulnerability? So the body is a dream. It is a dream, and yet it is all too familiar. This dream of human bodies living brief lives before sickening and dying seems to be the only reality within this forgetful condition of separation. It seems to be the only thing that there is. So eat, drink and be merry, for tomorrow we die. In the ego's interpretation, of course. And real life seems to be only a distant memory, so faint and forgotten that most of the time, almost all of the time, we don't even think of it. We're so preoccupied with our dream of death and our own personal needs and wishes and desires, and the memory of home has been almost entirely eradicated from our minds. And yet it does still keep haunting us, this memory of home. It hasn't been completely obliterated. So, like other dreams, the body sometimes seems to picture happiness, but can quite suddenly revert to fear, where every dream is born. Have you had that experience of thinking everything's going smooth and everything's okay? You've got a spring in your step. It's all good, there's a God, I'm waking up, I'm on a spiritual path. And then suddenly the fear hits you like a ton of bricks and you're lost, you're bewildered, you're confused, you don't know what's going on. So fear made the body, fear made the world. He says, fear has made everything you think you see. All separation, all distinctions, and the multitude of differences you believe make up the world. They are not there. They are not there. Love's enemy has made them up. Yet love can have no enemy, and so they have no cause, no being, and no consequence. They can be valued, but they remain unreal. They can be sought, but they cannot be found. For only love creates in truth, and truth can never fear. What I made without God can only induce feelings of fear and guilt. Whatever kind of dream I'm having, even the dreams that we thought we enjoyed when we were sunbathing our bodies by a swimming pool with margaritas in our hands, living the high life, eating good food, drinking good wine and surrounded by pleasant company. Even in those dreams, we couldn't quite shake off that vague suspicion, that vague apprehension that something wasn't quite right here, that we were guilty somehow and engaging in some kind of criminal activity, and that there would be a price to pay in the future. At some point on everyone's timeline, without exception, the guilt that every human mind has in their subconscious mind, it does come to the surface of awareness. Until then, perhaps you can enjoy the world and you can somehow push out that memory of home, forget it's there, and have a good time while you're here. Now, that's not to say you can't have a good time anyway. It's just that, if there's guilt in the mind, it does have to be dealt with at some point. He says the ego uses time as a device for compounding guilt and making it all encompassing. And what do you do then? Most likely you're going to collapse at some point. You're going to fall to your knees and beg for help. That's what happened to me. I couldn't cope with this place anymore. I finally gave up after a long, arduous struggle. And I'm still in the process of giving up. I'm still in a constant process of surrendering what I've made. So, made to be fearful, must the body serve the purpose given it? And it does serve this purpose. But we can change the purpose that the body will obey by changing what we think it is for. What do you think the body is for? What's it for? And that's that famous question. What is it for? The question is as applicable to the body as it is to anything, everything else. Purpose is everything. And who decides what it's for? Me or the Holy Spirit? Well, until I resign as my own teacher, me. Until I've suffered enough of doing things by myself. So the body, in the Holy Spirit's interpretation, is the means by which God's Son returns to sanity. The Holy Spirit reinterprets the body as he reinterprets everything, and he retranslates the body now as a means rather than as an end. Rather than as an end in itself. So though it was made to fence him into hell without escape, yet has the goal of heaven been exchanged for the pursuit of hell. It's amazing. Under the Holy Spirit's guidance, the body, which was made out of hate and employed to keep me trapped within a nightmare of separation, can now be used by the Holy Spirit to lead me, to lead you back home to heaven after a very long nightmare. The Son of God extends his hand to reach his brother and to help him walk along the road with him. So in this new purpose now, the body's hand can reach out to other minds that believe they are bodies and are suffering accordingly, and the body's feet can walk along the road to heaven with other minds. And he says, now is the body holy. Now it serves to heal the mind that it was made to kill. So that's quite a huge shift in purpose there. The body is sanctified when its only purpose is to be a communication device. When its only purpose is as a vessel for expressing the love and the light and the peace that the undoing of separation in yourself is increasingly bringing about in you. And making it evident to your brothers. So he says, you will identify with what you think will make you safe. Whatever it may be, you will believe that it is one with you. So what does make me safe? Is it spirit or the body? I think we've answered that. What needs my vigilance more? Is it the body, or is it my awareness of my true identity as spirit? I think we know the answer to that. I'm sure we do. So your safety lies in truth and not in lies. Love is your safety. Fear doesn't exist. Identify with love and you are safe. Identify with love and you are home. Identify with love and find yourself. Okay, so this is lesson 199 then. I'm not a body, I'm free. So this is a lesson in negation, a lesson in denying the denial of truth. I'm not a body, so then what am I? You're free. You're not this, you're not that. You're non-specific. You're not a concept that can be grasped. So he says, freedom must be impossible as long as you perceive a body as yourself. The body is a limit. The body appears to limit freedom. It appears in order to limit freedom. Who would seek for freedom in a body looks for it where it cannot be found. So I cannot find freedom in a body, that's very clear. The mind can be made free when it no longer sees itself as in a body, firmly tied to it and sheltered by its presence. If this were the truth, that you are firmly tied to the body and sheltered by its presence, then the mind were vulnerable indeed. And this is the world's belief about the body, that the mind declines when the body declines, that the mind is in the brain and is terminated when the body ceases to breathe. So the mind that serves the Holy Spirit is unlimited forever, in all ways, beyond the laws of time and space, unbound by any preconceptions, and with the strength and power to do whatever it is asked. So Jesus is clearly indicating here that freedom lies in serving spirit. And the idea of serving can bother us. Servitude is often equated with slavery, and we're likely to balk at it. We want to be free to enjoy our time in our way. I have to sacrifice my time and my life, the things I enjoy doing, to serve spirit. Maybe I can tolerate working from 9 to 5 in an office or a warehouse 5 days a week. But when I get home, that's my time. And if I want to watch football or a murder mystery on the box or go to the pub, then I jolly well will. I'm free. We aspire to freedom, don't we? But Jesus is very clear, there is no freedom in a body. So, attack thoughts cannot enter such a mind that serves the Holy Spirit, because it has been given to the source of love. It has been given to God. And fear can never enter in a mind that has attached itself to love. It rests in God. And who can be afraid who lives in innocence and only loves? Who can be afraid who lives in innocence and only loves? That really sounds like a call to simplicity. It sounds like quite an enticing, appealing call to me. This is such a complex, complicated place, isn't it? A call to stop looking out there to other bodies, to what other bodies are doing, to stop comparing myself with others based upon bodily identity and appearance. All bodily identification does induce feelings of guilt. It just does. If I'm a body, I'm guilty. Jesus is offering rest and respite from this existential drama of comparison and competition and striving that will bring about true freedom, freedom from fear. Resting in God is my release from slavery. If I want it, if I can accept that there is no hope of freedom or happiness here, unless I give what I have made to the Holy Spirit, in the recognition that what I have made has always, without fail, let me down. So he says, it is essential for your progress in this course that you accept today's idea and that you hold it very dear. I'm not a body, I'm free. This must I accept. I'm not a body, I'm free. I'm not a body, I'm free. How many times do I have to say that before I actually believe it? 70 times 7 maybe. So he says, be not concerned that to the ego this idea is quite insane. The ego holds the body dear because it dwells in it. And it lives united with the home that it has made. It is part of the illusion that has sheltered it from being found illusory itself. And here, in the body, does the ego hide. And here it can be seen as what it is. Declare your innocence, and you are free. I declare myself innocent, and I reclaim my freedom right now. Does it work like that? I am free. I am innocent. You are free. You are innocent. So he says the body disappears because you have no need of it except the need the Holy Spirit sees. The body disappears. The body disappears in the sense that I'm no longer concerned with it. It still seems to be there when I look down or when I look in the mirror. But it no longer takes center stage in my drama of existence. I'm no longer affected by it, or particularly aware of it, or bothered by it, or self-conscious about it, how it appears to others. What others? So for this, the body will appear as useful form for what the mind must do. So it's a useful form. The body can be a useful form. It can serve a purpose for a short period in time as an undercover agent for God. How about that? That's an exciting new profession. And what must the mind do? The mind must liberate itself, or allow itself to be liberated from the world of form and appearances, and become free from the will of samsara, as they say in Buddhism, by following and serving the Holy Spirit's atonement plan. However that looks, I don't know how that's going to look. It's probably going to look like forgiving and expressing love and offering miracles to my mind and to apparent other minds under the Holy Spirit's guidance. So there's no guilt in that use of the body, he says. It thus becomes a vehicle which helps forgiveness, which is an earthly form of love, be extended to the all-inclusive goal that it must reach according to God's plan. So yeah, forgiveness must be extended to everyone and everything, and my body can help with that. I can use my body's eyes and ears to teach my mind that I am not a body, by applying the mind training of the workbook lessons, for example. I can ask the Holy Spirit to guide and direct my thoughts and control my actions, my words, and my behaviour in a body. Okay, Jesus, I don't know what to do with this thing. All my use for it has just led me to guilt, but use it, move it to where you would have it be. Speak through it. Act through it. So he says, cherish today's idea and practice it today and every day. Make it a part of every practice period that you take. So again, obviously, this is a very important, key lesson that does need to be practiced over and over again. I'm not a body, I'm free, because I have become so practiced in teaching my mind that I am a body and that I'm not free. So there is no thought that will not gain thereby in power to help the world, and none which will not gain in added gifts to you as well. We sound the call of freedom round the world with this idea. And would you be exempt from the acceptance of the gifts that you give? No, in the Holy Spirit's use for my body, the gifts that are given through me are received by me as well. The Holy Spirit is the home of minds that seek for freedom. In him they have found what they have sought. We've all been looking for freedom. We've been frantically looking for freedom, and now it's being offered. It's being made available at long last, true freedom. Isn't that amazing? So the body's purpose is now unambiguous, and it becomes perfect in its ability to serve an undivided goal. It becomes perfect while it has a use in the Holy Spirit's plan. And when it no longer has a use, it is just gently laid aside. There's no longer any need or use for experiences of pain and suffering, because it's no longer being used by the ego to attack. So in conflict-free and unequivocal response to mind, with but the thought of freedom as its goal, the body serves its purpose well. Without the power to enslave, the body is a worthy servant of the freedom which the mind within the Holy Spirit seeks. So be free today. Be free. and carry freedom as your gift to those who still believe they are enslaved within a body. He doesn't say I have to become completely free myself. I don't have to be enlightened and completely awake in order to help my brothers. He doesn't say I have to make myself ready. He's saying, be free today, start now. In other words, wherever you think you are, you cannot determine where you are in the grand scheme of things. It's just inviting you to take this function now, without delay, and receive the gifts that are given through you by doing that, and receive the freedom. So be you free, so that the Holy Spirit can make use of your escape from bondage to set free the many who perceive themselves as bound and helpless and afraid. Who's he talking about there? Everyone, the entire human race, perceive themselves as bound and helpless and afraid. Isn't that a beautiful purpose? To offer them comfort, to offer them solace, and to offer it to yourself as well. When I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. As I offer healing, I receive it. So no longer do I need to say to my brother, at your hands I die, and you're the cause of my upset and my suffering. Now I can say, at your hands, brother, at your hands I live. You haven't upset me in any way. You haven't offended me. I can teach my brothers I'm not a body. I'm free through my actions, through my attitudes, through my demonstration. And in doing so, I increasingly accept this idea for myself. So he says, let love replace their fears through you. He really does need our hands and our feet. He needs us to be helpers in this plan. So accept salvation now and give your mind to him who calls to you to make this gift to him. Give your mind to him, the Holy Spirit. For he would give you perfect freedom, perfect joy, and hope that finds its full accomplishment in God. Hope is restored at last. There is no longer any futility. There is no cause for despair if I accept this function for myself. You are God's Son, and in immortality you live forever. Would you not return your mind to this? Then practice well the thought the Holy Spirit gives you for today. Your brothers stand released with you in it, and the world is blessed along with you. God's Son will weep no more, and heaven offers thanks for the increase of joy your practice brings even to it. And God himself extends his love and happiness each time you say, I am not a body, I am free. I hear the voice that God has given me, and it is only this my mind obeys.